for the position of Forest Preserve Board President are Mr. Hebreard and Mr. Joseph Cantore. Before we begin questions, I need to read a statement. Mr. Cantore has sent a message, a comment indicating he has an appointment with his wife that was not expected. It is out of town, and given the airline reservations, he could not attend the event and make our flight. Pursuant to the league's guidelines, this is the statement that was provided to us and that we are providing to you. The debate, because Mr. Cantore had agreed to participate, the debate will continue with questions to Mr. Hebreard.
Do I still get to make an opening statement?
You can.
Is it time for that now?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Hello and thank you for being here. My name is Daniel Hebreard. I'm running for Forest Preserve President here in DuPage County. I really do believe in public service and community service. We're so lucky in DuPage to have so many great volunteers. So many people, every school board member throughout the county, throughout the state is a volunteer. Every park district board member, a volunteer, helping the community, serving the community. Fire and police commissioners, a small stipend, putting all that work in. A lot of mayors, community board members, all these people are working for a small stipend. Forest Preserve, we don't make laws. They meet for about an hour or two a week. The president's the only one with an office. They have a more overarching responsibility for financials. Yet those 7 people make combined $500,000. I think that's a bit rich. $50,000 for a commissioner that works an hour or two, full health care for their whole families. President makes $75,000, full health care for his whole family. I think we could put that money back into the preserves. So I believe in fiscal responsibility. I think we can cut that down to a stipend, connect more trails, improve our communication. Do you know that we have 60 forest reserves? 25,000 acres here in DuPage. It's 12% of your property. We need to take that money and get flush toilets. It's disgusting. Some of these places are too beautiful and too fantastic to have an outdoor pit. I'm sorry. I don't want to bring my wife there because she doesn't like to go to the bathroom. So how do I know so much about the Forest Preserve? I'm a park ranger. I've been with the Forest Preserve for 13 years as the senior ranger. I've lived in DuPage my whole life, graduating from Downers Grove North. I have a Parks and Recreation degree from the University of Illinois. I have a Master's in Business Administration from Benedictine University. I have solar panels on my home with my wife and 2 children in Woodridge, and I drive an electric car. This job was made for me.
You're welcome.
Turning to the first question. Do you think the Forest Preserve should continue to acquire open lands or concentrate on maintenance of current property?
Well, I think that's a fantastic question. I think we can do both. There's some duality there. One of the things with acquiring new lands is we still have monies in that fund, and people may not realize that. We did go to referendum in 2006, and we acquired, I believe it was $60 million, and it was an overwhelming yes to do that, and it's a fantastic thing. And we've had great leadership with, again, acquiring 25,000 acres. I'm really proud of our accomplishments, but we can do more. So the maintenance is important. You know, we can acquire land without developing it, and that's important to recognize that some things can be for the animals, for the plants, without having a trail through it, without having a plan for a parking lot. So acquiring property doesn't necessarily have to add expenses besides just acquisition. And we do need to improve facilities. Our dilapidated facilities are decades old. And again, I think it's embarrassing when we have such beautiful places and they aren't really what we deserve here in DuPage.
Thank you. The next question. What is your position and how will you decide whether the county or the Forest Preserve will take the lead on funding and building the East Branch DuPage River Trail?
And the Forest Preserve has done a great job of working with other communities and at the county board. We have built over 140 miles of trail on our property, but we connect to so many other trails like the Great Western, the Prairie Path, the Southern DuPage Regional Trail, And I don't know if there necessarily has to be a lead, there has to be a collaboration. I don't think the county can fit the bill completely. I don't think the Forest Preserve could fit the bill completely. And I think we also bring in municipalities. If everyone works together and collaborates, like the Salt Creek Greenway, where you have different agencies, and I'm talking about a dozen agencies, park districts, municipalities, county board, Forest Preserve board, put money into that. Maintain parts of that. That's collaboration. That's good work. And I'm proud to be part of an agency that's doing that. Again, I feel like I can do a little bit more, so hopefully that answers that question.
And elaborating on that question, how do you see cooperation between the county board and the Forest Preserve?
I see that it's a great thing if we cooperate and collaborate. I'm not sure that I can add much more to that, except that being a leader means collaborating, means making government work. This country has too many people working as partisan people. We need to end partisanship here in this county. We have 7 people on the board, and they're all Republican, and that would be fine, except they're doing partisan politics when it comes down to contracts, when it comes down to hiring. And so I think it's important to have people who are collaborative. I'm inside the agency, I know what's going on in the agency that we're doing well, and I know what we can improve on. So I think moving forward, working with Linwood Plant at the county level, we can do a great job collaborating together, and I've already met with mayors and different municipalities and discussed some of the issues they feel are important to the Forest Preserve, and that's what's important, is working together regardless of party.
What is your position on saving the McKee House at Churchill Woods?
Well, I think we did the right thing. The Forest Preserve is a forest preserve. We have a lot of historic buildings. So right at Oak Brook, we have the Grow Mill, the Grow House, Fullersburg Nature Center, which is a CCC building, if you aren't aware, and the York Tavern, which isn't ours, of course, but it's right down the road. So there's a lot of fantastic buildings. The Fuller House right across the street. Every time a building comes up on our property, it's not necessarily our job to maintain that and to put millions of dollars in, because every time you have a public building, it needs to be ADA. And that's very expensive on an old home that has narrow hallways, needs an elevator if you're going to get to the second floor for it to be a public building or have public access to those areas. So now what we've done is we've partnered with Glen Ellyn, and that is their responsibility, and they feel like they have the community support to do some public and private funding to hopefully give that building what it needs. And I think that's the way, again, to do that, is to work within the community for support.
How would you create more community awareness of the programs and facilities of the Forest Preserve?
Thank you. That's an excellent question. So, we are not great at communicating what we have and what we do. So again, 25,000 acres, 12% of is your land, is my land, is our land, and over 60 forest preserves, but people don't know that. So I don't think we do a very good job. I think we need to send out potentially a brochure. I know park districts have a pretty popular brochure for people. We do have the conservationists, but we send it out to a very limited group of people. I think we could send something very small and efficient, something pretty green to people so they can be aware of our website, what's going on. We have so many programs for people with disabilities, for children, for adults, for active adults, and all over the county. But again, we're not doing a great job, so our social media game needs to get a lot better. And I'm a park ranger, so I'm not a great social media guy, but I know it's important. And so we have to hire people who know how to use that medium to reach you better. And that's what I plan to do. And collaborating again with park districts. We should work better with them. And again, they have a quarterly brochure. Maybe that's a shout out to get to people.
What are the most important challenges facing your office, and how do you propose to address them?
Well, one of the most important issues is, you just kind of hit on it. Nobody knows what's going on with the forest preserves. I've been to meetings, and I haven't seen any of you there. I've seen Jean Kazmarek. She's been a watchdog at the Forest Preserve, trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So hold me accountable. I want to do the right thing. Hold me accountable. So when I get in there, and I think the biggest challenge is making sure that we can get that collaborative board, that we're not push-pull, that we're all working for the residents of DuPage, to make sure you guys have the facilities that you should have, to make sure we're connecting trails safely off of roads, to make sure that we're doing the things that we should be doing to make these world-renowned. Yes, we have great property, but they should be world-renowned.
How often do the Forest Preserve Commissioners meet, and how long are the meetings?
Well, I'll have to admit, I was 3 minutes late to a 7-minute meeting. That's embarrassing. But a 7-minute meeting, when you're making about $1,000 a meeting, is pretty embarrassing as well. So they meet every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. conveniently, so I'm sure every working adult can make it. And they meet from anywhere from 7 minutes to an hour to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It depends if it's a planning meeting or a regular general meeting. It's important work. You know, we have an $80 million budget and a $50 million operating budget. And it's important that we have people who care and are conservationists. Do you know who's on the board now? Are they conservationists? You may want to look into that. Does anyone have a Parks and Recreation background? Do they believe in solar? Are they practicing what they preach? I think it's important.
We have 2 questions addressing the compensation to the Forest Board members, which I'll combine. What is the salary of the Forest Board president? What are board members paid? Do they receive other benefits, and do they receive pensions?
It is my understanding, and it's very unclear, I've asked several different people, but apparently the pensions were just allowed to be cut by the state in the fall. And it's my understanding they took no action. Several of the board members will receive a pension from the years of service that they were getting a pension. Again, I don't believe they are now. Each board member makes $50,000 and health care for their whole family, which is about $25,000 for a total package of $75,000. The Forest Reserve president receives $75,000 plus the $25,000 health care for their whole family. They all accept the health care and full pay. What I propose is that we drastically cut the salary and we remove the health care for what is a very part-time job that I would equate more to a park district board or to a school board, which again is fiscal responsibility and taking care of the community, and we put that money back into the forest reserves.
From the questioner, I recently returned from a trip to Michigan where they have long bike trails covered with asphalt, not crushed gravel like ours, and flush toilets in the state and county parks, not outhouses like we have. Do you feel we can improve our trails and toilet facilities in our forest preserves?
Well, I'm going to defend our trails right now. So we have crushed limestone, and that is a permeable material. If you look up what asphalt is, it's a carcinogen. So I will take crushed limestone, which is a natural product and is permeable, on a trail every day. And so we do a fantastic job of maintaining our trails, and they may not be perfect for bikers when they get wet, but they are a fantastic product, and for about 95% of the time, they are going to be your best solution. So I really believe we have some fantastic trails. We do have a couple blacktops, so I can guide those people to those preserves where we do have a couple asphalt trails. I definitely want to bring some modern amenities, and apparently flush toilets are kind of modern. Maybe 100 years ago they came out, but we want to bring to the forest preserves. And all joking aside, I mean, we do need to use technology better. So we need to, be out there and getting people the messages that are so important in community, and the environment plays such a vital role. And getting you out there and making people healthy is important at the forest preserve.
The final question, can more information be available on bike trails, including marking and maps, and how could this be implemented?
Absolutely. And I didn't mention this earlier with the technology, I kind of forgot, but if you look up some of our forest preserves, they're not on Google. I guess it's an important website now, Google, if you've heard of it. And a lot of things are on Google. So when you put in some of our forest preserves, you're actually not going to get there if you try to use Google Maps, which is sort of disappointing to me as a park ranger because I know where they're all at. And I want you to be knowledgeable where they're all at and get you there and get you a great experience. We have visitor information signs and just about all of our parking lot. That is a great technique, but we should have VR codes so that you can download a map on your phone. That is very user-friendly. We don't have that yet. I want you to be in the trail when you're on your phone, like, oh, where the heck am I? I took a wrong turn. So those are the types of improvements that are important because we live in a technological age and nobody's really good at map reading anymore.
Thank you. Thank the audience for questions, and closing statement, 1 minute, please.
I'm Daniel Hebreard. I'm running for Forest Reserve President. You're my neighbors. I am also a first-time politician, if you couldn't figure. As a park ranger, I have enjoyed giving public service. I am not a sworn officer. We open the gates in the morning. We check for safety. We go around. We do archery programs and fishing and biking and hiking. And I love these places. Thank you.